Okay, this is chapters 91 through 95 of Lock the Doors. 91. I can't sleep or eat or think about anything except the pretend grave that Amy spoiled just enough to make it obvious. What happened there wasn't a mistake. It wasn't caused by an animal or a stormy night. It was done by someone wanting to send a message. Whenever the doorbell rings, I picture Jane on the other side. Every night when I do finally dream, I see Aaron locked in a room like this one. He screams, but no one hears him. And then Jane whispers, "I warned you," and I wake up sweaty and breathless. I always wanted to be brave, but the Pierces aren't something to escape. They are something to catch, and that's a lot harder. I don't know how often Jane visits the shrine, but the next time she does, I'm expecting a knock on the door. I'm desperate for it because this won't work if she doesn't explode. Jay wants revenge for what happened to Aaron. "What are we waiting for?" he asks, and Mom says, "Trust me, we need to be patient." It's what she said to me over and over again while she planned her escape from Martin and then Gary. I didn't believe her then, but I do now because I've seen it. I wonder if Amy is scared or if she knows her mom well enough to sit back and wait for it to happen. I'm worried about her, but it's too risky for us to message each other. She hasn't come back to school and I miss her. My feelings are still there, wrapped in so many others, but bright enough to shine through the gloom. I miss the way she smiled when she meant it, and how she looked when I wasn't searching for her secret. I didn't see it then, and I hate myself because Amy was happiest when we were talking about other things, like how my mom met my dad at the school park and when she danced at Centurium. Everything was tinged with sorrow, and her happiness was temporary, but it was there, and I wish I'd made more of it. I think I loved her, and maybe I still do, and that makes what we're trying so much harder. If we catch Jane, we catch all of them. We could have walked away. We could ignore the big home on the corner like we ignore all the other houses on our street. We could forget in order to feel safe, except we'll never feel safe and we'll never feel happy. How can we when we know the truth about a mystery the police called a tragic accident? Logan Connolly's mom thinks her son was washed away, but the tide comes in eventually. When I go downstairs, Mom is at the table. I don't do this in secret now. She watches me in silence, even when I check the back door 20 times because there's a hole in the fence and Jane could fit through it if she tried. I haven't told Mom my biggest fear, that on the day the Pierces handed over the keys to our new home, they kept one for themselves. As if she could read my mind, she asked Jay to fit bolts, but the thought still fills me with dread. When I'm done, I kiss Mom's cheek and she smiles, but doesn't move. I close my bedroom door and slide the lock across, the one I bought to prove my theory. Now I use it just in case. 92. I can't message Amy in case Jane has her phone, so I do something else and hope it works. The sign on my window says, "We all need a head start sometimes." Even if Jane sees it, she won't know what it means, not unless Amy told her. I keep thinking about what she said the day Aaron went missing. "I didn't walk away because I wanted you to find out. Maybe that way this would be over if we actually took responsibility for Logan and Logan went home. Amy wants this to end and I want to help her, but I'm still terrified about how it could play out. If things go wrong, I might never see her again, and if they go right, we might not get the chance to say goodbye. That's why I leave the note by the Head Start line. If anyone else finds it, it will be nonsense. I wish we didn't have secrets and could have just been whatever you wanted us to be. I wish I hadn't pushed you so much to answer questions you must have hated. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of you. Please write back, X. I don't know if Amy will find it, but I have to try. I need to know she's all right and hasn't been hurt or locked in. And I want her to know I'm still here, even if her curtains never open and school feels empty without her. 93. When Jane finally comes, it's not how we expected. She doesn't look angry. She looks calm, until her words give her away. "What did you do?" she whispers. "What do you mean?" I ask, stepping back and hoping she follows. Jane thinks she knows this house better than anyone. She feels safe here, but she shouldn't. "You know full well." My heart's racing, and I can feel the sweat under my arms as I try desperately to stay cool. Jane needs to be the one who breaks, not me. "Where is he?" Jane asks. Her eyes dart all over the place. Her fingers pull at her clothes, and I know it's worked. All she needs is to say it. "I said, where is he?" She's still whispering, but something is rumbling below the surface, and I take another step back. "Do you mean Jay?" I ask. Jane says, "Where's my son?" The last word is the quietest and the sharpest. I glance at the painting above the fireplace where Jay fitted one of the hidden cameras the day after we met Amy in the woods. There are 3 in total, one filming the front door, the second that I just checked, and a third that with Jane front and center. This is how to be certain that, when the time's right, you can trap a monster. Upstairs, Jay can switch between the cameras on his laptop and have all 3 on a multi-screen like security guards looking for thieves. I won't ask again, Jane says, trying to push past. I don't know what you mean. You know damn well what I'm talking about. You went to the woods and you dug up. She stops and looks over my shoulder. Then she shakes her head and mumbles something I can't make out. She's furious, but her tears are coming hard now, and she looks scared as well. Give him to me, Jane screams. She moves so fast that I don't realize she scratched me until I feel a sting. I touch my cheek and my finger comes away red. She lunges again and I step away this time. Why would you dig up my son? She snarls. I try to keep my voice strong, but it cracks at the end. What do you mean? Jane clenches her fists and I brace myself, but she doesn't move. Instead, she takes a long breath out. You think you're so clever, but you're not. My son died 6 years ago and no one has any fucking idea. I do, I reply. Jane laughs. I do. She's mocking me because I'm scared, and she thinks she's the reason. But I'm terrified she'll leave without saying everything. I think of Amy when she told me what happened to Will. She lost something she can never get back. They all did. But she doesn't want to live that lie anymore. What about Logan? I ask. Jane stares at me like I'm prey. What about him? He has a mother, a real mother. I'm his real mother, and his name is William. She's calmer now, and if you didn't know better, you would think that this was a normal conversation. It wasn't always, though, was it? You took him. Jane shakes her head and says, we both know that's not true. I could stop now, but Amy wants this. She said it's okay to say her name. She said it's vital. So I opened my mouth and forced out the words because this tape is a confession, and Jane isn't the only one. Okay, Amy took him, but you made her do it. She had to, Jane says. It was the only way. You must understand, Tom. Remember how your family reacted when I took Aaron for an hour? Imagine that with no end. I had to do something. I'm sorry you found out because Amy really liked you. But you know you can never tell. Give my son back and stop digging. She's crying again now, and I risk the quickest glance at the camera, but she catches me, follows my gaze, and says, what have you done? Jane's eyes are tiny specks of fury, and there's movement behind her, and I see them before she does. Mom, Amy says, stop. 94. Amy and Logan are standing in the doorway, and Jane looks from them to me and back again. They took him, she whispers. Amy touches her mother's shoulder. They didn't. The anger falls from Jane's face, replaced by confusion. But it's over, Amy says. I'm tired, Mom. We all are. I hear the footboards creak, and I imagine Mom, Jay, and Nia upstairs just guessing what to do. But I hold my hand to my ear, our secret sign that I'm okay, and the creaking stops. Amy looks at me, but she isn't scared. She looks strong, and I want to hug her and tell her I'm sorry for not figuring it out sooner. I want to hold her because it worked. We have Jane's confession on tape, at least enough of it for Amy to fill in the gaps. The sound of sirens breaks the silence. Usually it surges and fades, but today it gets louder until I know exactly where it is. We should go, Amy says. She pushes her lips together and nods, then leads her mother down the path. Logan doesn't move for a moment. He looks at me and I want to say the right thing, but what is it? Then he turns and follows Amy and Jane, and I walk to the end of the street where the police car is parked in the Pierce's driveway. The gate isn't locked anymore and the front door is open. Chris stands with his arms crossed, and I think of him that day in the woods when Amy set this plan in motion and he didn't stop her. Tom, Mom says from behind me. She hugs me and Nia joins in, and Jay stands a few steps back. That was intense, Nia says. People are starting to gather in the street, talking in hushed voices. Then another police car arrives, no siren this time, no flashing lights, just 2 officers who stride quickly inside. Amy was the one who had to release the truth, and today she had the strength to turn the key in the lock and finally open the door. 95. Not everything ends with an explosion. For a while, with Jane threatening to charge through our house, I thought it might. But the truth is a lot calmer. Will you shush? That night, the police knock on our door and Mom hands over the recording. I write a statement that sounds ridiculous when I read it back. I can see the disbelief in the officer's face. Then his partner shows him the picture of Logan Connolly before he went missing and another of him now. Whatever the policeman was about to say evaporates. In its place, a single sound. Oh. And now we're all watching from my bedroom window as the police tape is stretched around a house that suddenly looks smaller. Amy has already left, her and Logan driven off in different cars for different destinations. I don't know where she's gone, but I desperately hope she comes back. I always wondered why she chose me, if I really was a random first friend or if it was more than that. It definitely was for me. When the final car pulls away, Mom and I are still watching. We're used to looking through windows more than Jay and Nia. We did it, Mom says, but we don't feel happy. How can we when we've just destroyed a family? It's not until I think of Logan's real mother that I smile. I'm not naive. I know whatever happens next is not going to be easy, but I hope the damage Jane caused isn't irreparable. I hope Logan remembers his mother as more than just a stick figure carved into a wardrobe. It was just the two of them, like Mom and me, and they didn't even have that. They were two broken souls, each grieving for the other, two lives made dark and lonely because of a tragedy that shattered three more.